Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and sound off on this because this is very important news as it pertains to the 154 division. Because we got a fight, ladies and gentlemen. It has been reported that Sebastian Fundora and one Errol Spence Jr. have agreed to a fight for the WBC Super Welterweight title, and this will be in October, presumably Dallas, where Errol Spence is from. If not Dallas, then probably Vegas. But they've agreed to it, so that's a good thing. Now, the WBO title, which Fundora captured against Tim Tszyu, will not be on the line because they're gonna go ahead and strip him because he was ordered to fight Terrence Crawford. As many of you guys know, before this Madrimov thing was even signed with Crawford, we know that the winner of Tszyu and Fundora was ordered to fight Terrence Crawford. Fundora won. Samson Lukowicz decided to keep things with PBC, and that's why he is going to get stripped in the fight. And the WBO title will not be on the line in this fight, so it's just going to be straight for the WBC title. So there's that, and there's a lot of storylines going into this fight, guys. Those are just a couple of the storylines. The other storyline is that Errol Spence Jr. himself stated that, and I quote, "This might be the last time you see me." So Errol Spence is hinting at retirement. He's hinting at hanging up the gloves for good. And I'll say it like this: anytime a fighter, in history has shown us many times, whenever a fighter starts talking about hanging his gloves up from boxing and retiring before they even had a fight, it's never a good sign. It normally means they already have one foot out the door. And really and truthfully, we've barely seen Errol Spence since he got beat up by Terrence Crawford. He's been very to himself. He hasn't really been out much. We know that there's a whole thing going on with him and Derek James. Derek James is suing him over some money that wasn't paid from the Crawford fight. So there's a lot going on with Errol Spence in his career. So look, if it is going to be the last time for Errol Spence, then it'd be best that he goes out with a W. It would be best that he make the final act a very good act because, you know, Fundora is one of the best fighters in the division. He's coming off a massive win against Tim Tszyu. And this is an important fight for Errol Spence. This is a chance for Errol Spence, if he is going to retire, to go out on top as a two-division champion at 154. So we'll see how it goes. I think if he wins and looks good, I just can't see him, you know, leaving the division, because you know how boxing is. Right now, people aren't really talking about Errol Spence like that. But if he goes out there and he somehow turns back the clock to 2016 when he fought Chris Algieri, or 2017 when he fought Kell Brook, if that Errol Spence shows up at 154 as a bigger, stronger guy than what we saw at 147 in the Crawford fight and looks like $1 million, you guys know people will start clamoring for him in the Crawford rematch, or him versus one of the other fighters in the division, or maybe Boots moving up to fight him. There's going to be all those things, so we will see how it goes. Now, what a unique opportunity for Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora got absolutely knocked into another dimension when he fought Brian Mendoza and was gifted a world title shot against Tim Tszyu, which, to his credit, he capitalized on it and he beat Tim Tszyu fair and square. So it is what it is. This matchup is funny for that reason, because you have you have Fundora, who fought Brian Mendoza, got knocked out by Brian Mendoza, didn't have no fights in between, got gifted an immediate title shot and became champion. Now he's fighting Errol Spence, who got beat up by Terrence Crawford, hasn't had no fight since then, and is being gifted an immediate title shot at Sebastian Fundora. So it's crazy how right now their careers are kind of in a very similar spot, I would say. But from the Fundora side of things, this is Fundora's chance, I really feel, to shoot himself into the stars as a big name in boxing. You know, Errol Spence is a big name in boxing. Errol Spence is a household name in boxing. If you know boxing, you know who Errol Spence is. So with that being said, if he beats him, you know, he becomes he becomes much bigger in the sport, and it's important for him. We know Sebastian Fundora is he's not gonna be cute, and he's not gonna box on the outside. This guy comes for blood and guts. This guy comes to have a fight where it's a bloodbath in the ring. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But we know Sebastian Fundora, with that kind of style, with that all action, balls to the wall, blood and guts style, doesn't normally have a long shelf life in boxing. So we'll see how it goes. He's going to be here, probably not for a long time, but he's going to be here for a good time. That's Sebastian Fundora. So I think his style and Errol Spence's style should mesh very well when they fight each other. We know Errol, when he's at his best, is working behind a very consistent power volume jab, and then using that power volume jab to get on the inside and just work. Let his hands go and work. And when he's at his best, I feel Errol Spence Jr. is one of boxing's premier body punchers. So now it's going to be interesting because he's going to have a lot of body to work with. A tall, lanky frame. A guy that may be tall but don't like to fight tall. Sebastian Fundora might fight like, might be 6'6", like he's a Klitschko, but he fights like he's a 5'6" Mexican pressure fighter. He want to be right up on top of you, you know, letting his hands go and making things very hard for you. And God forbid he throw a right hook and that dense, bony-ass elbow of his come across and hit you any sort of way. You know, he's just what I would call a meat and potatoes fighter. So Errol Spence Jr., I think the key for him is defense in this fight, defense in the pocket, parrying them shots in the pocket, and just remaining composed, which are things that he's very good at. So I think that's why the styles mesh well. I'm really intrigued to see who Errol Spence brings in as a trainer, because we can assume that with the lawsuit going on, he's not going to be training with Derek James. So let me guys, who do you guys think could be a good coach for Errol Spence? That's really, to me, one of the most interesting storylines of this fight. And there's a lot of interesting storylines going into this fight, but yeah, that's the news. They're going to be fighting for the WBC title. Errol Spence Jr. hinting at retirement. Sebastian Fundora is getting stripped of the WBO, so it's only for the WBC. And the WBO will go vacant, which, you know, who knows who will fight for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterbury, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.